Hello everyone and welcome to Ghar's YouTube channel. Today we shall discuss the 2018 South Asian University Entrance Exam paper. South Asian University is an international university sponsored by the South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation. It conducts this entrance exam for MSc Biotechnology course admissions. The paper has 100 questions and is divided into two sections. Part A has 30 questions and Part B has 70 questions. So let's start. Part A. Which of the following is the most abundant protein or enzyme on Earth? A. Rubisco, B. Hexokinase, C. Triose phosphate isomerase, or D. Catalase. Now here Rubisco stands for D-ribulose 1,5-biphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. It is called as a key enzyme which catalyzes the carboxylation reaction and is probably known as the most abundant enzyme on Earth. It is responsible for over 99% of global carbon dioxide fixation. So the correct answer is option A. The bacterium killed in Alexander Fleming's experiment during this discovery of penicillin was A. Pseudomonas aeruginosa, B. Escherichia coli, C. Staphylococcus aureus, or D. Streptococcus pyogenes. In Alexander Fleming's experiment, he kept an uncovered petri dish near an open window, which became contaminated with mold. After this, Fleming realized that the bacteria near the mold were dying. He isolated the mold and identified this mold as Penicillium genus, which is found to be effective against all gram-positive pathogens. This bacteria that was killed due to the Penicillium mold was Staphylococcus aureus. So the correct answer is option C. Acetic acid results from the reduction of A. maltose, B. glucose, C. carbon dioxide, or D. ethanol. Now out of these options, carbon dioxide is the most oxidized form. It, on reduction, gives acetic acid and the mechanism is called as electrocatalytic reduction. So the correct answer is option C. In which step of wastewater treatment do microbes participate? A. Preliminary, B. Primary, C. Secondary, or D. Tertiary. The objective of preliminary treatment is the removal of coarse solids and other large materials found in raw wastewater. Primary treatment, on the other hand, removes material that will either float or readily settle out by gravity, and it uses physical processes such as screening, grit removal, and sedimentation. Secondary treatment is a biological process to remove dissolved and suspended organic compounds using activated sludge process. And finally, tertiary treatment is a final cleaning process that improves wastewater quality before it is reused, recycled, or discharged to the environment. So the correct answer is option C. If, in a reaction, A plus B gives product, the rate is doubled when the concentration of B is doubled, and the rate increases by a factor of 8 when the concentrations of both the reactants A and B are doubled. Then the rate law for the reaction can be written as A rate is equal to K into concentration of A into concentration of B, B rate is equal to K into concentration of A squared into concentration of B, C rate is equal to K into concentration of A into concentration of B squared, or D rate is equal to K into concentration of A squared into concentration of B squared. Now if we let R be the rate of the reaction, we can denote it as K into concentration of A raised to X and concentration of B raised to Y, where X and Y are the orders of A and B respectively. So according to case 1 mentioned here, the rate is doubled. So 2R is equal to concentration of A raised to X into twice of concentration B raised to Y. Since here it is said that the rate is doubled when the concentration of B is doubled. According to case 2, the rate is 8 times. So 8R is equal to K into concentration of A twice into raised to x and concentration of D twice raised to y. So, and we number this 1, 2 and 3. So dividing equation 2 by equation 1, we get 2 is equal to 2 raised to y. From this we can find out that y is equal to 1. Similarly, dividing 3 by 1, we get 8 is equal to 2 raised to x into 2 raised to y. Now we know y is equal to 1. So 8 is equal to 2 raised to x into 2. So 4 is equal to 2 raised to x. So x is equal to 2. So the correct rate is K into concentration of A squared into concentration of P. So the correct answer is option B. Which one of the following amino acids is involved in the transport of excess ammonia from tissues to the liver through the bloodstream? A. Glutamine, B. Glutamate, C. Alanine, or D. Asparagine. Glutamine serves as a carrier to remove ammonia. Peripheral tissues remove ammonia from blood by metabolically incorporating it into glutamine. Glutamine is freely permeable and may transfer ammonia to other tissues for nitrogen transfer reactions or for metabolic degradation via urea cycle. This process of removal of excess ammonia from skeletal muscles to liver through bloodstream is carried out by alanine. Here in this case, they ask for tissues to liver through bloodstream. So the correct answer is option A, glutamine. On analysis, a certain compound was found to contain iodine and oxygen in the ratio of 254 gram of iodine to 80 gram of oxygen. The atomic mass of iodine is 127 and that of oxygen is 16. Which of the following formula of the compound? A. IO, B. I2O, C. I5O2, or D. I2O5. So now for this we refer the given formula. For iodine, the given mass is 254 and its atomic mass is 127. When we divide the given mass by its atomic mass, we get 2. For oxygen, when we do the same, that is given mass by atomic mass, that is 80 by 16, we get 5. So the formula is I2O5. In a zero order reaction, for every 10 degrees Celsius rise in temperature, the rate is doubled. If the temperature is increased from 10 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius, then the rate of the reaction will become A. 128 times, B. 256 times, C. 512 times, or D. 1024 times. Now, for a zero order reaction, the rate is doubled at every step. Here, from 10 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius, there are 9 steps involved. As the rate is doubled, we denote this as 2 raised to 9. So the rate is 512 times. So the correct answer is option C. Which one of the following substances is formed when glycerol is treated with phosphorus pentachloride? A. 1,2,3-trichloropropane, B. 1,2-dichloropropane, C. Isopropyl chloride, or D. Phosphoglycerate. As you can see in the reaction, when glycerol is treated with phosphorus pentachloride, that is PCl5, we get glyceryl trichloride or 1,2,3-trichloropropane along with POCl3 and 3HCl. So the correct answer is option A. A follows first order reaction where A gives product. Concentration of A changes from 0.1 molar to 0.025 molar in 40 minutes. Find the rate of reaction A when the concentration of A is 0.01 molar. A. 1.73 into 10 raised to minus 4 molar per minute. B. 3.47 into 10 raised to minus 5 molar per minute. C. 3.47 into 10 raised to minus 4 molar per minute, or D. 1.73 into 10 raised to minus 5 molar per minute. Now for a first order reaction, we know that the formula is K is equal to 2.303 by T log A naught by AT, where A naught is the initial concentration of the reactant and AT is the final concentration. So from the given data, the initial concentration is 0.1 molar and the final concentration is 0.025 molar and the time taken is 40 minutes. When we substitute these values, we get K is equal to 2.303 by 40 into log 0.1 divided by 0.025. On calculation, we get K is equal to 0.035 minute inverse. Now, the rate is equal to K into A, that is the concentration of A, which is equal to 0.035 into 0.01, which is given here. So the rate is equal to 0.00035 molar per minute. So the correct answer is option C, 3.47 into 10 raised to minus 4. The best conductor of electricity is A. Graphite, B. Coal, C. Vacuum, or D. Air. Graphite has delocalized electrons, just like metals. These electrons are free to move between the layers in graphite, so it can conduct electricity. The other options do not conduct electricity. So the correct answer is option A. Puromycin is commonly used for the inhibition of A. DNA replication, B. Transcription, C. Translation, or D. DNA supercoiling. Puromycin is an aminonucleoside antibiotic. It inhibits translation by premature chain termination. So the correct answer is option C. The origins of replication are usually rich in Ag, At, Gc, or Ct. Origins of replication are the first sites where DNA unwinding occurs. For this, these sites have to be easily destabilized or opened by binding of an initiator protein to its respective recognition sequence situated nearby. At binding only has 2 hydrogen bonds, so it is relatively weaker than GC bonding, which has 3 hydrogen bonds. So the correct answer is option B, as At bonds are easier to break. Enthalpy change occurs at A. Varied pressure, B. Constant volume, C. Varied volume, or D. Constant pressure. When a process occurs at a constant pressure, the heat evolved or absorbed is equal to enthalpy change. So enthalpy change occurs at constant pressure. So the correct answer is option D. Determine the relation R in the set A, which contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, as R is equal to x comma y, where y is divisible by x. A. Reflexive, symmetric and transitive. B. Reflexive and transitive but not symmetric. C. Reflexive but not transitive and symmetric. Or D. Neither reflexive nor symmetric nor transitive. So from the question, we know that the set A has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. The set R contains 1, 1, 1, 2 and so on. Now, as x is divisible by x, x, x belongs to R. Hence, it is reflexive. Now, 3, 6 belongs to R, but 6, 3 belongs to R. That is, 6 is divisible by 3, but 3 is not divisible by 6. Hence, it is not symmetric. Y is divisible by x. Z is divisible by y. Then Z is divisible by x. That is, x, y belongs to R y comma z belongs to R. So z comma x should belong to R. Hence R is transitive. So the correct answer is option B. Find the principal value of cot inverse 1 by root 3. A 3 pi by 2, B 3 pi by root 2, C 2 pi by 3 or D 2 pi by root 3. Now if we let y is equal to cot inverse 1 by root 3, then cot y is equal to 1 by root 3. So cot y is equal to cot pi by 3 or cot pi minus pi by 3. So y is equal to pi by 3 or 2 pi by 3. Here the given option is 2 pi by 3. So the correct answer is option C. If A be a square matrix of the order 3 into 3, then Ka equals to A k into A, B k square A, C k cube A or D 3Ka. Let the order of A be n. So we can take K common from each of the row of Ka. We know that Ka is equal to K raised to n into A. So Ka will be equal to K cube A. So the correct answer is option C. Differentiate the function with respect to x in cos into sin x. A cos x sin into sin x, B minus cos x sin into sin x, C sin x cos into sin x, or D minus sin x cos into sin x. So when we do this by chain rule, d by dx into cos into sin x will give minus sin into sin x into d by dx sin x. On solving this, we get minus sin into sin x multiplied by cos x. So the answer is minus cos x into sin x. So the correct answer is option B. Find the value of integration of 1 minus sin x by cos square x dx. Option A, tan x plus sec x plus c. B, tan x minus sec x plus c. C minus tan x minus sec x plus c. Or D, minus tan x plus sec x plus c. When we integrate this, we get tan x minus sec x plus c. So we can do this as follows. Integration of 1 minus sin x by cos square x dx. So here integration, which gives us integration of 1 by cos square x dx minus integration of sin by cos into 1 by cos x dx, which will give us integration of sec square x dx minus sec x integration into tan x dx. So the correct answer is option B. That is tan x minus sec x plus c. If 2Pa is equal to Pb is equal to 5 by 13 and Pab is equal to 2 by 5, then the value of probability of A intersection B will be A 7 by 11, B 7 by 13, C 11 by 26 or D 11 by 15. So now the given data is 2Pa is equal to Pb is equal to 5 by 13. From this, we know that the probability of A is 5 by 26. Pb is given, which is 5 by 13, and Pab is given to be 2 by 5. So the solution is as follows. Pab is equal to A intersection B by Pb, which is 2 by 5 is equal to P of A intersection B divided by 5 by 13. So probability of A intersection B is 2 by 5 into 5 by 13, which is equal to 2 by 13. Now we know that that is probability of A union B is Pa plus Pb minus Pa intersection B. So which is equal to 5 by 26 plus 5 by 13 minus 2 by 13, which is equal to 11 by 26. So the correct answer is 11 by 26. That is option C. The number of arbitrary constants in the general solution of a differential equation of the fourth order is 0, 2, 3 or 4. Now, the number of arbitrary constants in the general solution of a differential equation is the same as the order of the equation. So here in the question it is mentioned fourth order. So the answer, that is the number of arbitrary constants, is 4. So option D is correct. How much negative charge is there in 1 liter of water? A. 5.36 into 10 raised to 7 coulomb. B. 3.34 into 10 raised to 25 coulomb. C. 5.35 into 10 raised to 4 coulomb. Or D. 9.61 into 10 raised to 8 coulomb. Now, we know that for water, 1 liter is equal to 1000 grams. That is 1000 ml is equal to 1000 grams. So the number of moles of water in 1000 grams is equal to 1000 divided by 18, which is the molecular mass of water, which gives about 55.56 moles. So the number of molecules in this 1000 gram of water will be equal to these 55.56 moles into the Avogadro constant, which is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. So these are the number of molecules. Then one H2O molecule has 1 plus 1 plus 8, that is 1 from each hydrogen and 8 from oxygen. These are the number of electrons present. So the number of electrons would be 10 electrons for one molecule. So for these number of molecules, we will have 55.56 into 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 into 10 electrons. Now 1 electron has 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulombs of charge. So when we multiply the number of electrons by charge for 1 electron, we get the total charge, which comes to around 5353317.12 coulombs, which is approximately equal to 5.36 into 10 raised to 7 coulombs. So the correct answer is option A. The electrostatic potential energy of a system consisting of two charges, 7 microcoulomb and minus 2 microcoulomb, and with no external field, placed at minus 9 centimeter 0, 0 and 9 centimeter 0, 0 respectively will be A. 1.2 joule, B. minus 1.4 joule, C. minus 0.7 joule, or D. 0.9 joule. Now, it is given that the first charge, that is Q1, is equal to 7 microcoulomb, and Q2, which is the second charge, it is equal to minus 2 microcoulomb. So now the distance given between these 2 points is 18 centimeter, from minus 9 to 9. So the potential energy is given as the formula U is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by R. We know that the value of K, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, is 9 into 10 raised to 9, which is multiplied by minus 14, which is the product of these charges, and since it is microcoulomb, so into 10 raised to minus 12 divided by 0.18, because it is in centimeters, so we get the answer minus 0.7 joule. The correct answer is option C. The resistance of the platinum wire of a platinum resistance thermometer at ice point is 5 ohms and at steam point is 5.23 ohms. When the thermometer is inserted in a hot bath, the resistance of the platinum wire is 5.795 ohm. What will be the temperature of the bath? A. 305 degrees Celsius, B. 346 degrees Celsius, C. 379 degrees Celsius, or D. 399 degrees Celsius. Now here R naught is given to be 5 ohms, which is the resistance at ice point. At steam point, that is R at 100 degrees Celsius, is given to be 5.23 ohms. And the resistance at the unknown temperature is given to be 5.795 ohms. From this, we know the formula alpha is equal to R100 minus R0 by R0 into T. So when we put in the values, we get T is equal to 5.795 minus 5 divided by 5.23 minus 5, and it comes about 346.65 degrees Celsius. So the correct answer is option B. A short bar magnet placed with its axis at 30 degrees with an external field of 800 G experiences a torque of 0.016 Newton meter. What is the magnetic moment of the magnet? A. 0.4 ampere meter square, B. 0.7 ampere meter square, C. 0.9 ampere meter square, or D. 1.1 ampere meter square. Now we know that B, that is the magnetic field, is given to be 800 G. The angle is 30 degrees and the torque experienced is 0.016 Newton meter. The torque is known to be mv sine theta. So from this, m is equal to torque by v sine theta, which is equal to 0.016 divided by 800 into 10 raised to minus 4 into sine theta, which gives about 0.4 ampere meter square. So the correct answer is option A. A wheel with 10 metallic spokes, each of 0.5 meter long, is rotated with a speed of 120 revolutions per minute in a plane normal to the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field, HE, at a certain place. If HE is equal to 0.4 G at that place, what is the induced EMF between the axle and the rim of the wheel? Note that 1 G is equal to 10 raised to minus 4 T. A. 2.35 into 10 raised to minus 5 V. B. 3.18 into 10 raised to minus 5 V. C. 5.72 into 10 raised to minus 5 V. Or D. 6.28 into 10 raised to minus 5 V. Here we know that the number of spokes in the wheel is 10 and the length of each spoke is 0.5 meter. The magnetic field is 0.4 into 10 raised to minus 4. So T can be found out to be 4 into 10 raised to minus 5. The frequency known is 120 rpm, which is equal to 2 rps, that is revolutions per second. Induced EMF between the axle and the rim can be given by E is equal to N into V into L square into pi into T, which is equal to 10 into 4 into 10 raised to minus 5 into 0.5 into 0.5 into 3.14 into 2B. Therefore, E can be given as 6.28 into 10 raised to minus 5E. So the correct answer is option D. The amplitude of the magnetic field part of the harmonic electromagnetic wave in vacuum is B naught is equal to 510 nt. What is the amplitude of the electric field part of the wave? A. 125 n by C, B. 153 n by C, C. 171 n by C, or D. 185 n by C. Now we know from the question that B naught is equal to 510 nt. And C, that is the speed of light, is equal to 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. So the magnitude of electric field is given as E naught is equal to V naught into C. So if you put in the values, we get 153 N by C. So the correct answer is option B. At what speed should a galaxy move with respect to us so that the sodium line at 589 nanometer is observed at 589.6 nanometer? A. 183 km per second, B. 257 km per second, C. 306 km per second, or D. 325 km per second. Now, the given lambda is 589 nanometer. That is the wavelength. So the difference or the change in lambda is 589.6 minus 589, which is 0.6 nanometer. The velocity of the galaxy can be given as c into change in lambda by lambda. So on substituting the values, which are 3 into 10 raised to 8 for c, delta lambda is 0.6 into 10 raised to minus 9, and lambda is 589 into 10 raised to minus 9. So we get 3.06 into 10 raised to 5 meter per second, and to convert it to kilometer per second, we get 306 kilometer per second. So the correct answer is option C. The pressure in psi, that is pounds per square inch, at Earth's surface is 14 psi, 21 psi, 0 psi, or 18 psi. The standard or near average atmospheric pressure at sea level on the Earth is 1013.25 millibars, or about, which can be denoted as 14.7 pounds per square inch. So the correct answer is option A, 14 psi. The rate law for a reaction between the substances A and B is given by rate is equal to K into concentration of A raised to N and concentration of B raised to M. On doubling the concentration of A and halving the concentration of B, the ratio of the new rate to the earlier rate of the reaction will be A M plus N, B N minus M, C 2 raised to N minus M, or D half raised to M plus N. If we consider the initial rate to be R1, then R1 can be given as K into A raised to N into B raised to M. Similarly, the rate after the change, that is R2, will be equal to K into twice the concentration of A raised to N and half of concentration of B raised to M, which can be denoted as this. So, after taking out the coefficients, we get K into 2 raised to N minus M into concentration of A raised to N and concentration of B raised to M. So R2, that is this, by R1 will be equal to 2 into N minus M. So the correct answer is option C. Now we move on to part B of this question paper. Here's the first question. Which one of the following column chromatography techniques can be used for the purification of polyarginine tag protein? A. Affinity chromatography, B. Cation exchange chromatography, C. Anion exchange chromatography, or D. Size exclusion chromatography. Now, polyarginine tag protein is positively charged, so it is cationic. Therefore, we need cation exchange chromatography for the purification of this tag protein. So the correct answer is option B. How many ATPs are synthesized during the complete oxidation of a single acetyl coenzyme A? 2, 10, 20, or 30? In a single round of Krebs cycle and etc. by acetyl coenzyme A, 3 NADH, 1 FADH2, and 1 ATP or GTP are generated. 3 NADH, so 1 NADH gives 2.5 ATP. So 3 NADH will give 7.5 ATP. 1 FADH gives 1.5 ATP. So when you add these two together, we get 9 ATP, and 1 ATP or GTP is generated during Krebs cycle. So when you add that, you get 10 ATP. Which one of the following groups of amino acids is synthesized from pyruvate? Valine, leucine and isoleucine, glutamine, proline and arginine, methionine, threonine and lysine, or tryptophan, phenylalanine and tyrosine. From pyruvate, alanine, valine, isoleucine and leucine are synthesized. So from the given options, the most perfect option containing all three, most of these, that is, are valine, leucine and isoleucine, that is option A. How much energy is produced by the complete oxidation of 1 gram of fatty acid? A. Approximately equal to 0.38 kilojoules. B. Approximately 3.8 kilojoules. C approximately 38 kilojoules, or D approximately 380 kilojoules. Now, 1 kilocalorie is equal to 4.18 kilojoules. So, for 9 kilocalorie, we multiply 4.18 by 9, which gives 37.62 kilojoules. So, the answer is approximately equal to 38 kilojoules. So, the correct answer is option C. Which one of the following glucose transporters has the highest Km value? A. GLUT1 of all mammalian tissues, B. GLUT2 of the liver, C. GLUT3 of all mammalian tissues, or D. GLUT4 of muscles and fat cells. GLUT2 has a relatively high Km value and it is around 17 millimolar, which means that they do not have a high affinity for glucose and only begin the uptake of glucose at a very high blood glucose level. So out of these four, GLUT2 has the highest Km value. So the correct answer is option B. Glucose 6-phosphate 6-carbon is converted to ribose 5-phosphate 5-carbon by pentose phosphate pathway. Which carbon from glucose 6-phosphate is removed in the form of CO2 in this process? A. C6, B. C1, C. either C1 or C6, or D. any carbon can be removed. In the oxidative phase of pentose phosphate pathway, glucose 6-phosphate is converted into ribulose 5-phosphate. This is glucose 6-phosphate, which is converted into ribulose 5-phosphate. This ribulose 5-phosphate in the non-oxidative phase gets isomerized into ribose 5-phosphate. As you can see here, the first carbon of glucose 6-phosphate is removed in the form of CO2. So the correct answer is option B. The first carbon is removed. Which one of the following inheritable metabolic defects in humans was discovered first? A. Diabetes, B. Phenylketonuria, C. Obesity, or D. Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. Now, Johann Peter Frank is credited with distinguishing diabetes mellitus and diabetes insipidus in 1794. But the actual credit for formal discovery of a role of pancreas causing diabetes was done by Joseph von Mering and Oskar Minkowski in 1889. As far as the other options are concerned, phenylketonuria was discovered in 1934, obesity in 1950, and Lesch-Nyhan syndrome in 1964. So, the correct answer for the disease that was discovered first is diabetes. So, option A is correct. Which one of the following citric acid cycle intermediates is precursor of porphyrins? A. Oxaloacetate, B. Malate, C. Succinyl coenzyme A, or D. Alpha ketoglutarate. For this, we refer the Krebs cycle mentioned here. We see at the end of this process, as an intermediate, protoporphyrin is formed. Protoporphyrin eventually forms porphyrins. These are formed from pyroles. Now, pyroles are formed when a succinyl derivative between alpha ketoglutarate and succinate is combined with glycine. We know that in the Krebs cycle, the succinyl derivative between alpha ketoglutarate and succinate is succinyl coenzyme A. So the correct answer is succinyl coenzyme A. Which one of the following leukocytes are present in blood in the highest numbers? B cells, NK cells, eosinophils, or neutrophils? For this, we refer this infograph on the abundance of leukocytes in blood. When you see under the granular leukocytes, you see this neutrophils, and you can clearly see that neutrophils have 60 to 70% abundance in blood. This is the highest, followed by lymphocytes, monocytes, basophils, eosinophils. So the correct answer for the highest number of leukocytes present is neutrophils. How many protein chains are there in a fully assembled IgM antibody molecule? A. 5, B. 20, C. 21 or D. 25. For this we will refer this figure of the IgM molecule. The IgM molecule is a pentamer. So it is made up of 5 monomers. Each monomer, that is this part, is made up of 4 polypeptide chains, 2 heavy chains and 2 light chains. So each monomer has 4 polypeptide chains. Like this, we have 5 monomers. So in all, there are 20 polypeptide chains. Along with this, there is one J chain present connecting these monomers. This J chain is also a polypeptide or protein chain. So in all, the IgM antibody molecule has 21 protein chains. So the correct answer is option C. Which one of the following statements about the antibody molecule is not true? A. Immunoglobulin unit has 2 heavy and 2 light chains. B. Heavy and light chains are bound by disulfide bond. C. Each immunoglobulin unit has 2 different antigen binding sites. Or D. Constant domains do not participate in antigen binding. Now let's look at this figure. This is a figure of a typical immunoglobulin molecule. As you can see, this has 2 heavy chains. So this is the first heavy chain and this is the second heavy chain, along with 2 light chains. This is the first light chain and this is the second light chain. So the first statement is true. Heavy and light chains are bound by disulfide bond. As you can see, this is an interchain disulfide bond. It binds the heavy chain to the light chain. So the second statement is also correct. Each immunoglobulin unit has 2 different antigen binding sites. While we can see 2 arms to the Y-shaped molecule, both these antigen binding sites are the same. So this statement is false. Constant domains do not participate in antigen binding. The constant domains of the antibody molecule do not participate in antigen binding, which is a true statement. So the correct answer is option C. Virus infected cells are generally eliminated by which kind of immune cells? A. A class of T cells, B. A class of B cells, C. Macrophages, or D. Neutrophils. Cytotoxic T lymphocytes, natural killer cells, can recognize and kill virus infected cells. Helper T cells can recognize these virus infected cells and produce a number of important cytokines. So, a class of T cells are responsible to eliminate virus infected cells. So the correct answer is option A. Which one of the following properties is not associated with natural killer cells? A. Killing of tumor cells, B. Phagocytosis of virus, C. Killing of virus infected cells, or D. Activation by interferon. NK cells or natural killer cells are activated in response to interferons or macrophage derived cytokines. They provide rapid response to virus infected cells acting at around 3 days after the infection and respond to tumor formation. So the correct answer is option B. They do not actually cause the phagocytosis of the virus, but kill tumor cells and virus infected cells and are activated by interferons. Graft rejection reaction is mediated by A. T cells, B. Macrophages, C. B cells, or D. mast cells. The immune response to a transplanted organ consists of both lymphocyte-mediated and humoral, that is antibody-mediated mechanisms. Although other cell types are also involved, the T cells are central in the rejection of grafts. So the correct answer is option A. Which one of the following is not required for anti-pollen allergies? A. IgE, B. IgA, C. Mast cell, or D. Basophil. IgE, mast cells, basophils, and eosinophils are essential components of allergic inflammation. Antigen-specific IgE production with subsequent fixation of this IgE to receptors on the mast cells and basophils is central to initiation and propagation of immediate hypersensitivity reactions. Here, IgA is not involved. So the correct answer is option B. Which one of the following is a central tendency? A. Standard deviation, B. Median, C. Range, or D. Median deviation. In statistics, a central tendency is a central or typical value for a probability distribution. It may also be called a center or location of the distribution. Colloquially, the measures of central tendency are often called averages. So the tendency for values of a random variable to cluster around its mean, median, or mode is a central tendency. So from these given options, median is the central tendency. So the correct answer is option B. The interquartile range is A Q1, B Q3, C Q3 minus Q1, or D Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. The interquartile range is called as IQR. It describes the middle 50% of values when ordered from lowest to highest. To find this IQR, first we have to find the median, that is the middle value of the lower and the upper half of the data. These values are called quartile 1, that is Q1, and quartile 3, that is Q3. IQR is the difference between Q3 and Q1. So the correct answer is option C. A paired t-test is done to identify the difference between A. 2 groups, B. 3 groups, C. 1 group before and after a treatment, or D. 3 groups before and after a treatment. A paired t-test is used when we are interested in the difference between two variables for the same subject. Often these two variables are separated by time, such as before and after a treatment. It must be noted that this is only for one group. So the correct answer is option C. One group before and after a treatment. Which one of the following tests is not done for categorical versus categorical variables? A. Chi-square test, B. Fisher's exact test, C. Student's t-test, or D. McNemar's test. Out of these four options, option A, B, and D are used for categorical versus categorical variables, that is between two categorical variables. So chi-square test, Fisher's test, and McNemar's test can be used for two categorical variables, whereas student's t-test is done between two continuous variables or a continuous variable and a categorical variable. So the correct answer is option C. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to Vigyan Ghar's YouTube channel for more such videos. Next up, we have the part 2 of the South Asian University's 2018 question paper. Thank you.